Let's like zoom out and just think of your own professional career through the lens of stress at work. Because I'm guessing, is there anybody here that hasn't experienced stress at work? Raise your hand if you've never experienced stress at work. Okay, so we all have. So just think about how you navigate when you feel that stress. Do you feel it? Do you live candidly? Do you reveal that? Are you conscious? Do you ground yourself when you're feeling the stress? I know Will was kind enough to tell us a little bit about his day at work, which I would assume, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but you received news that my guess is made your heart rate go up and experience some stress. How do you think you navigated that stress from the news that you heard today? Good, bad, or somewhere in between?
Yeah, so I had some tough news, a resignation at work, a couple of employees at high level in the company, leaders. And I think I did pretty well in the sense of I felt myself getting upset. I was honest with myself that I probably just needed to wrap things up for the day and head out. And so I did that. I closed my computer, called my wife and said, I'm meeting you guys at the pool. And so I took the last 2 hours of the day to go spend some time with my kids and jump in the pool. And we swam around and had fun. And I did find myself in moments going back in my head to work and thinking about work while I was in the pool with my kids, but just worked really hard to stay present in that moment. And I can be a workaholic and get really focused on work. And so that's my sort of work that I've been doing, is to try to be present with my kids, especially at times when I can be present. And only 2 days left before school starts for my littles. And so jumped in the pool and hung out. It was good.
So you give yourself a pretty good grade on navigating that stress. Does anybody have any stories from your past of navigating stress in not such a good way, whether it's through work or anything else? Just think of times when you've regretted something. Anybody have any stories?
I would just say it's not like just one particular instance, but just like a general reaction, regret and guilt and stress overall for me. Like I have this really bad tendency to fold up and almost, I don't know if playing possum or like just becoming like a puddle is one way I've heard it put, instead of, I don't know, like we were talking in the group, like living intentionally and being like, all right, let's get my shit together. What can I do differently? What is the real solution to the problem? I just like dissolve into the guilt and the shame and regret and all that. And it just, there's something like, as someone who's had like addiction problems, there's definitely like an addictive tendency to that reaction, at least for me, of just like just wallowing. There's something that is addictive about it. And yeah, I guess that's what's behind you, Todd, that generate peace. Just today, I feel like I had a little bit of a breakthrough of I really need to generate my own kind of states instead of just letting, I don't know, you got to accept what is, but then do something to change the circumstance for the better instead of just accepting what is and being sad about it.
Yeah. So what I hear you saying is there's sometimes where you're at the effect of, or you're a victim of circumstances and you feel powerless to do anything about it. And at least for today, it sounds like you had an opportunity to have a little bit of a mini breakthrough. And I'm just wondering if you'd be willing to share what you attribute the breakthrough to. Did you take a breath? Did you call somebody? Was it just a mind shift? What, if
Yeah,
anything, can you share?
I don't want to be like, it's a lot, so I don't want to be like too heavy on it just in this short period of time. But I've been in like some, just over the past couple of years, and especially over the past like 6 months or so, I've just been in like a really kind of devastated state. And it felt like, oh, there's no way out of this. And just recently I decided I'm moving and I'm like changing jobs. I'm moving to Denver. I haven't told you yet. Todd. But yeah, I'm moving to Denver in 2 weeks, apparently now. It's all happening really fast, and it's something I've been thinking about for a long time. But yeah, I'm just, all right, instead of just thinking about killing myself or whatever and fantasizing about death, I'm gonna be like, let's just try to build something good here and go to whatever extent I can. And it started, I think, for me just taking small steps. And it's still just like day by day, step by step, because it's still not easy right now. But I don't know. It's just by making the decision to like remain alive and not just accept my shortcomings as, I don't know, honestly, again, it's just like coming back to the living intentionally thing. I'm really like envisioning, all right, how can I actually not just make life like a chore, but make life purposeful and attract people to me? And what actions can I do to, yeah, make my life the best it can be from here out?
And as I hear you share, Griff, you use a word like devastated. And as you're sharing some of these more vulnerable thoughts or feelings, I just wonder how it feels to share that with a group of guys, some of whom you know, some of who you're meeting for tonight. Do you think that, in my experience, the more we talk about our stuff, the less of a grip it has on us? But that's not always true. And I'm just wondering if you'd be willing to share your experience just now. You just shared with us for 5 minutes some of the deeper stuff that's been going on. And I just wonder if it feels lighter or heavier as a result.
Honestly, for me, I have been way too much of an open book, and I've had like real boundary issues where I've really like spilt on to people constantly. So it's just like second nature for me to just share whatever's going on, pretty unfiltered. But yeah, like in this space, I would say it always feels good. It feels like I get into, I don't know, we definitely just touch on something in our soul here. And it always feels, whenever I am spilling out in this forum, at least, like it's usually there's positive energy being felt, at least on my end. So
Thanks, Griff. Appreciate that. Anybody want to just share your experience of hearing Griff take that deeper dive?
Griff, just hearing you talk, I know you mentioned that it's slow progress, inch by inch kind of a thing, but it's awesome to hear. It sounds, for me, hearing you speak, it sounds like progress is being made. I'm excited for you for your move. It sounds like there's a huge adventure awaiting for you, and I'm happy and excited for you as you continue just your journey.
Thanks,
thank
Caleb.
you.
Yeah, I really appreciate how much you were able to share there, and you know, again, I know we just met, but you mentioned moving to Denver, and I'm excited for you. I think a change of scenery can really help, and again, I'm biased, but I think it's great out here, and I think it's sunshine all the time, so that will help too. So I hope the change and you're making that change, like you're breaking the pattern and doing something to move forward. And like Caleb just said, adventure. I think it's a great thing, and you should be proud of that.
That's pretty good. It's a pretty good commercial for MenLiving Connect. It's funny. Griff is about to move to Denver. Jim is in Denver area. What I get most out of being in this organization, when I hear that there's guys connecting in between Zoom meetings or in between in-person meetings, that's when my energy goes up the highest, because these spaces are great, but I really see these spaces as vehicle for honest one-on-one connections, whether it's on Zoom, FaceTime, text, coffee, doesn't matter. So my invitation to anybody on this call is to reach out to somebody, and I'll provide everybody's contact information if you're willing, just to make that connection in between.